Would you guys just get your asses out there and start shooting? Holy crap. Am I doing all the work here?
Welcome back everyone to another retrospective video. I'm ShadoSpartan, and for this month we're checking out Mass Effect 2 from the Legendary Edition. Originally released in 2010, developed by BioWare, and published by EA, this third-person action RPG game made many improvements over the first game. The combat is a lot more fun and challenging now. The story is still good, but not as grand. However, they still do a great job expanding the universe with places like Omega and Ilium. As a disclaimer, I did 2 playthroughs this time. The first one was Paragon on Veteran difficulty, and I did everything I could find to do in the game. The second time was with female Shepard and went Renegade. So what I'll be talking about is primarily focused on the first playthrough, but you might see a female Shepard pop up every now and then. As usual, we're going to go through the story, so spoiler warning, what I liked and disliked, and any funny or awkward moments that happened to me during my playthrough. So let's go through the Omega 4 relay. You can create a new male or female Shepard, or import one from Mass Effect 1. The game starts off with a woman named Miranda and the mysterious elusive man talking about Shepard and the Reapers.
If we lose Shepard, humanity might well follow.
Then see to it that we don't lose him.
We cut to some text regarding the last game. The Council is sending Shepard out to remove the last of the Geth resistance. We cut to the Normandy investigating 3 ships that went missing in an area. However, an unknown ship shows up in the system. Despite the stealth systems being engaged, the ship begins attacking the Normandy.
Presley! Kinetic barriers down! Multiple hull breaches! Weapons offline! Somebody get that fire out!
Ashley makes her way to Shepard, who's readying the distress beacon.
Distress beacon is ready for launch.
Will the Alliance get here in time?
Shepard tells her to evacuate, while he makes his way to the cockpit to save Joker.
No, I won't abandon the Normandy! I can still save her!
Shepard gets him into escape pod, but Shepard doesn't make it, and dies. Yeah, that's quite a lot and a big deal to start the game, but I will say it definitely sets the tone. Then you can select to watch a comic-styled video recapping the previous game's events. It will ask you which important choices Shepard made. This is great if you don't want to go back and play through the first game. You won't be able to decide everything, but just the main things, like killing Rex and saving Kaidan or Ashley. So for my female Shepard playthrough, I made the opposite choices. Now you can customize the look of Shepard, and pick what class you would like to be. I'm still playing as Soldier, so don't ask me about what the other classes are like. Looking at me, I wish I opened my eyes more. Oh well, let's begin the tutorial. Shepard begins to wake up and sees Miranda, but is put back to sleep. Then is woken up again, but this time the facility is under attack. Miranda is on a loudspeaker and guides you through how to play the game. Instead of weapons that if you fire for too long they will overheat, now you have weapons that have clips in them. I know a lot of people didn't like this change when it came out, but I feel indifferent to it. It has me thinking twice about making sure I have a full clip before coming out of cover and begin shooting at enemies. Also, they've toned down the RPG elements. Now everything has a maximum of level 4. At 4th level, it will give you a choice, such as for Combat Master, I can pick if I deal more weapon damage or simply have more health. Not a great RPG system like the first game, but I think it's better to keep it simple like this. Shepard makes his way to a Cerberus operative named Jacob. You can ask him questions or get to fighting the mechs. The game teaches you how to use powers, such as Jacob's pole. You can ask him more questions, but nothing really important. Except for a man named Wilson who needs help. So you fight your way through some mechs to get to Wilson. You grab some med gel and learn how to use it in order to revive squad mates during combat. If all enemies are taken out, your squad mates will come back to life. Before leaving the room, Jacob reveals to Shepard that Cerberus is responsible for bringing him back from the dead. To summarize Cerberus, it's a human survivalist paramilitary group, led by the Elusive Man. They strongly believe that humans deserve a greater role in the galactic community and will use any kind of method to achieve that goal. You take out more mechs and get to the shuttle when...
Miranda, but you were...
Dead?
What the hell are you doing?
My job. Wilson betrayed us all.
Anyway, you leave and go to another facility. Miranda and Jacob do ask you questions about events from your past. This changes depending on what you picked for your backstory. Then they ask about Vermeer.
I left a friend to die that day, and I didn't do it casually. But I had to save as many people as I could.
Now you can change your appearance. There isn't much to pick right now, but you'll later get to purchase better armor. You can change the color and a casual look. Then we meet the elusive man. There's many questions you can ask him, but the point of the conversation is...
We're at war. No one wants to admit it, but humanity is under attack. While you've been sleeping, entire colonies have been disappearing. Human colonies. We believe it's someone working for the Reapers, just as Saren and the Geth aided Sovereign.
He will then send you to Freedom's Progress, the most recently abducted colony, to find out what happened. Definitely feels creepy right off the bat. As Miranda points out, there's no signs of battle. It's like the people just disappeared without a trace. You run into some mechs, which is strange because they should be friendly, but someone reprogrammed them. As you explore, you'll encounter things like safes or computers to hack, which will put you into a minigame to match icons. It does get annoying after a while, but it's something to do. Then you run into some Quarians. Then you hear a familiar voice.
Shepard? Is that... You're alive?
Remember when I gave you that Geth data tally? Did it help you complete your pilgrimage?
Yes, it did.
What's cool here is this dialogue choice is only possible if you gave her Geth data back in Mass Effect 1. Really cool to see BioWare putting in as much as they could from the first game into this game. Tali tells you they are looking for another Quarian named Vitor at the colony. However, Vitor might be injured, so he's going crazy and is the one responsible for reprogramming the mechs. Tali suggests to split up and make their way to the center of the colony to find Vitor. Fight some more mechs, and Tali says Vitor activated a big mech, and it's wreaking havoc on the Quarians. I began to see an easy way to fight in this game. Even though I'm behind cover, I'm still able to shoot the mech, and it can't shoot me. Feels a bit exploitative, but I'm gonna do what I need to do to survive. Here you learn if you see this icon in the bottom right pop up. You'll do a Paragon action. In the bottom left, the Renegade option might pop up. You learn what took the colonists.
My god. I think it's a collector.
What happens is these Seeker swarms fly around and stun the humans. Then the collectors come and collect the humans into pods and take them away. Tali asks to take Vitor, but Miranda and Jacob think they should take him to Cerberus. As a Paragon, we take Vitor's Omni tool.
We're ready for pickup.
Elusive Man talks a little bit about the Collectors and the Omega-4 relay. No ship has ever returned from the relay. Only the Collectors are somehow able to use it. So the plan is to assemble a team of the best soldiers, scientists, and mercenaries to join up with Shepard. First thing is to go to Omega and find Morden Solis, who will be key to finding a way to counter the Seeker swarms. Then the Elusive Man says this.
I found a pilot I think you might like. I hear he's one of the best. Someone you can trust.
Hey, Commander. Just like old times, huh? It's good to be home, huh, Commander?
I guess we'll have to give her a name.
Shepard walks through the new Normandy, and then discovers an AI named Edie. Then it shows you around the ship. You can meet Miss Chambers, whose main job is to tell you,
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
Now you can use the map, with the same wonderful music. Now, right off the bat, I'm gonna say, like many others, I do not like this scanning for resources thing. It's very tedious, but you gotta do it if you want upgrades. Not gonna lie, most of my recordings are of scanning planets. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's get started. I visited the Normandy crash site. There's nothing to fight, but you run around clicking on dog tags of your dead crew members. There will sometimes be a flashback of the old Normandy, but otherwise it's not much of a DLC. I think this was part of the Cerberus Network service, which was back in the day publishers were trying to incentivize gamers to buy a new copy of the game. It had to do with many gamers would just wait and buy a used copy for cheaper. You can put a monument up which does feel like a wonderful goodbye to the old Normandy. Now I head to Omega, a slum-like space station. Right away you meet Zaid, a badass mercenary. He talks a little bit about himself and Cerberus, then tells you about a mission he needs done when we get a chance. Then head into Afterlife, a big dangerous nightclub. Go and talk to Arya. She'll tell you where to find Mordin and Archangel. Then you can find Fist over by the bar in the lower part of Afterlife. Also, you can dance. There is of course strippers to watch. I then head to the recruiting office to find Archangel. They take me to their forward base. You get the chance to meet the 3 biggest gangs in the galaxy, the Eclipse, Blood Pack, and the Blue Suns. You can sabotage them to make the later fight easier.
You're working too hard.
You take out the mercs and get to Archangel. Turns out it's Garrus. You can talk to him to catch up, but eventually Eclipse sends in their team, and some mechs. Eventually they send in the big mech, but I sabotaged it so it attacks its allies. After taking them out, Blood Pack began making their way through the lower tunnels. So I head down and seal the 3 doors to keep them from coming in. Then the leader makes his way in and I take him out. Finally, the Blue Suns send in their gunship. This injures Garrus. I take it out, but it looks and sounds like Garrus isn't gonna make it. Don't worry, he's fine. Just got a few scars. I then decide to go to the Citadel and meet Captain Bailey, the head of CSEC. You can learn a bit about what happened in the last 2 years. But not much has changed except there's more humans at CSEC now. Also, here's everyone's favorite meme.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
So I decided to go talk to Counselor Anderson and the rest of the Council. Shepard tries to get the Council to believe him about the Reapers, but the Council doesn't believe you without proof. They do at least reinstate his Spectre status, but as far as I can tell, this doesn't do anything gameplay-wise. I went back to Omega and looked for Mordin. The door is locked because of a plague. Apparently it's a plague that affects all aliens except humans and Vorcha. I find a Batarian who's very sick and doesn't want my help, but I give him some med gel because I'm a nice person. I continue on and fight more Blue Suns until I get to Mordin. He gives me the cure to the plague, but I need to take it to the Environmental Control Center to disperse it. So more fighting, but this time it's with Blood Pack. I do find Mordin's assistant and save his life from Batarians. Then get to the control system. Vorcha tells Shepard this was all because of the Collectors. They made the plague, and had Blood Pack release it. So you kill them, then put the cure in, and turn on the fans. Great job, you saved everyone in the district. Mordin then joins you. Next mission I do is to get Collector information from a Krogan warlord named Okeer. You fight off some Blue Suns until Shepard finds Rana from Vermeer. She tells you this warlord Okeer isn't trying to cure the genophage, or build an army of Krogan. You fight more Blue Sun and get to the Okeer. He tries to create the perfect Krogan. He agreed to give the Blue Suns all his rejects to enhance their army, but the leader decides to purge the entire place. So Okeer begs you to stop her. I go downstairs and take her out and the big mechs along with the reject Krogan. When I get back upstairs, Okeer died from an explosion, but left a recording. So Shepard takes the tank with a Krogan in it. I get back to the ship and open the tank. The Krogan pins Shepard to the wall. He decides to give himself the name Grunt, and smartly joins Shepard's crew.
I'm glad you saw reason.
Next I did a side mission. Not much to it. I run to one side of the map, then enemies start spawning and I slowly make my way back the way I came. However, the twist is there's a little bit of fog. I don't know, it's lackluster to say the least. I did lots of exploring and collecting materials, until I found this creepy space station. There's lots of blood and dead humans throughout the station. Apparently it was a rogue VI that killed the crew. You shut it down after solving a few easy puzzles. I then decided to try Kasumi's Stolen Memory DLC. This was great because I never played it before, and overall, it's a great side mission, and you get a powerful companion. So Kasumi and Shepard are going to a party. The goal is to get a gray box that belonged to a partner of Kasumi's. You meet the host of the party. Mr. Hawk. He doesn't want Kasumi to come in. That won't be an issue because Kasumi can turn invisible. You check out the vault, and you know what you need to do to unlock it. First you go here to disable the barrier, then talk to Hawk to get his voice print, then sneak over this balcony to take out the guards to get into his private quarters. You look around for DNA samples, but watch out for the alarm clock. It'll send in enemies to check on it. Now go to this room and get the password.
The password is Perugia.
Huh. That's the name of the man who stole the Mona Lisa. Nice.
Now you can open the vault and get your equipment from the statue of Saren you brought. This elevator takes you down into his private collection. He has the head of the Statue of Liberty. There's also a reference to another BioWare game, Dragon Age. However, you find the gray box, but Hawk reveals he knew that was Kasumi, so he let you both in. Take out the Eclipse guards and make your way out. It's a long way, but you run into Hawk who's piloting a gunship. During the fight, Kasumi takes out the shields, so you can finish it off. This was a tough boss fight, especially with enemies joining the fight once in a while, but Kasumi has a power that's really strong. She'll teleport behind an enemy and Falcon punch them. Once Hawk is dead, you get to your shuttle. Kasumi looks at the last message. Keiji had lots of information on the Alliance, which would be terrible if it got out. However, he also has all the memories of the two of them. So you have to decide, destroy the gray box and all the information, including all the memories of him, or let Kasumi keep it and risk the information getting out. The Paragon choice is to let her keep it. Next mission is getting the Hammerhead, which is a pretty fun vehicle, but we all know why they made it without wheels. Anyway, it's fun, except for the scanning. The ship will sometimes slide too far away, so then I need to restart the scan. It's really annoying, and I wish BioWare changed this. Oh well. There are a couple more missions with this, but it's not important to the story, so I'm not going to talk about them. Next mission, I decided to do Zaid's loyalty mission. We make our way to Vito, but Zaid does reveal some information. Him and Vito are the ones who started the Blue Suns, but Vito betrayed him and shot him in the face. Somehow Zaid survived, and so he wants revenge. You meet up with Vito, but Zaid sets the whole place on fire with a couple of shots and smacking this gas valve. As we continue on, a worker screams at us they can't get to the shutoff valves. Zaid doesn't care because Vito will get away if they help them. Shepard does decide to save them. You fight through Blue Suns and extinguish the fires. Fight more Blue Suns and a big mech, just to miss Vito. Of course, Zaid is very angry. You convince Zaid to put his revenge for Vito aside until they finish the mission with the Collectors. If you did the Renegade option, you get this.
Try, you son of a bitch.
Next mission is getting Jack from the Purgatory. They try to take your weapons, but Shepard doesn't let them. Warden Kirill then tells you where to go to make the exchange for Jack. However, he betrays you by telling you to get into a cell pod. Of course, Shepard doesn't. So now you have to fight your way to get Jack, who turns out to be a badass woman who can take out 4 giant mechs. You fight your way through Blue Sun guards and fight the Warden. It's not much of a boss fight. You just take out 3 shield generators to finish him off. Then meet up with Jack, who has a bad history with Cerberus, but goes with you because of the current situation.
So why the hell are we standing here?
Move up.
The Elusive Man contacts you and wants you to go to the colony Horizon, which is about to get attacked by the Collectors. Ashley Williams is also there. And just in time, Mordin has created a countermeasure to the Seeker Swarm. On Horizon, Ashley is trying to get the defense towers up and running, but that's when the Collector ship arrived. The Seeker Swarms begin freezing everyone. Then we get to see some of the Collectors collecting the colonists. Then we see the Collector General take control of one of its soldiers.
We are the harbinger of their perfection. Prepare these humans for ascension.
You land on the planet and make your way into the colony. The Collectors are pretty easy. They do put up shields and have some heavy beam weapons. Later you will have to face the Collector General, who takes direct control of a soldier. He becomes a lot stronger and throws energy attacks at you that burn you, and a slow energy beam that will stun you and knock you out of cover. Definitely the best enemies to fight in this game, in my opinion. You then meet up with a mechanic, who tells you about the defense towers, so Shepard makes the plan to bring them online to fight the Collector ship. When you get there, you need to hold out. Then you fight a Praetorian, which is a tough boss to fight on hard difficulties. Like I said before, you can exploit the fight from cover, which you'll have to do because its laser beam hits like a truck. Once the Praetorian is dead, the Collector ship leaves after taking heavy damage from the defense turrets. The mechanic shows up and complains about half the colony is in there. Then Grunt mentions Shepard, and the mechanic remembers that name. Then suddenly Ashley shows up and gives Shepard a hug. Unfortunately, Ashley is not happy. She's upset I didn't try to contact her and I'm working for Cerberus. It doesn't matter what you say, Ashley doesn't come with you.
Joker, send the shuttle to pick us up. I've had enough of this colony.
You report back to the Elusive Man, who gives you his thoughts on the mission, and forwards you 3 more people to enlist, while he figures out what to do next to lure the Collectors out from hiding. He also recommends making sure your crew is ready, which is just a hint at making sure you're doing their loyalty missions for each person. Next mission I do is to find Tali. This map is interesting, because standing in direct sunlight will damage you. This is a nice change to the combat. Now to fight some Geth. You make your way to a radio and contact Cal Rieger, who's trying to save Tali. First thing I need is some explosives to get inside this bunker. I make contact with Tali. She was here because the sun is aging faster than it should. Fight some more Geth, then you meet up with Cal Rieger. He'll provide rocket support, but I told him to stand down because he's already injured. Make my way around and take out the Colossus, and meet up with Tali. This time she joins you. Next mission I decide to do is Jacob's loyalty mission. There was a distress signal from his father's ship which disappeared 10 years ago. It's strange why there would be a distress signal now after so long of going missing. So you go and investigate. Long story short, Jacob's dad and the officers ate the food from the ship, while everyone else had to eat the food on the planet. This had side effects on him, like losing memories, and males became more aggressive. Jacob's dad liked being in power, but eventually he was losing control, so he activated the beacon to get rescued. Now I head to the planet Ilium. First thing I do is meet up with Liara, who's an agent for the Shadow Broker now. She gives you information on Thane an Assassin and Samara the Asari Justicar. You can encounter an Asari who gives you a message from the Rachni Queen you let go on Novaria. Then Gianna Parasini who gives you that beer she owed you. However, she leaves you a note to go talk to a merchant and help her with another investigation. I make my way to the bar where I help Miranda with her loyalty mission. She wants to get her sister off the planet. Her father hired mercs to find her. There's an old friend of Miranda named Niket who helped her get her sister to safety in the past, and now they're trying to move her again. The plan is to cause a diversion while Niket escorts her sister and the family she's with to safety. It's a long fight with the Eclipse mercs, but you learn Niket betrayed Miranda and told her father about her sister. However, the merc kills Niket, so we end up killing the merc. In the end, Miranda saves her sister and Shepard tells her to at least go and meet her. Next mission, I go after Thane, who's about to kill Nasana Dantius, who's an Asari you do a simple side mission in the first game. When you arrive, she set her mercs on all the workers because she knows the assassin is coming for her. As you make your way up, you will run into workers who are grateful for the rescue. When you get to Nasana, she thinks you are the assassin, but you surprise her by saying you're here for the assassin. Then Thane shows up.
Finish dealing with this nuisance. You and I are going to...
Impressive. You certainly know how to make an entrance.
Thane joins you after telling him about the innocent are being abducted.
I will work for you, Shepard. No charge.
The Elusive Man contacts you and says he received information that the Turians attacked and disabled the Collector ship. So he sends Shepard to go and investigate and find out what information they can. This doesn't at all look like a trap. The creepy atmosphere is great. Then find a terminal. ED looks and finds they were analyzing data between humans and Collectors, but ED also finds out the Collectors are Protheans.
My god. The Protheans didn't vanish. They're just working for the Reapers now.
You continue on and get to another terminal. ED gets all the information she can, but then something happens.
Shepard, it was not a malfunction. This was a trap.
You fight off some collectors and get ED back online. While Garrus was stuck in the T-pose, ED finds out the Turian distress call originated from the collector ship, but it's strange because the Elusive Man should have known this wasn't genuine.
This is a bad time to become an optimist, Shepard.
You fight lots of collectors and even a Praetorian, and make your escape. The Elusive Man does reveal he knew it was a trap, but was confident in our abilities, and that we would be able to get data we need from them. The group has a meeting, and ED knows where the Collector homeworld is, somewhere in the galactic core. So the plan is to get a Reaper IFF, which will allow the Normandy to get through the Omega-4 relay. But first I help Jack with her loyalty mission by blowing up the facility she grew up in. Then I go and look for Samara. You find her taking out Eclipse soldiers. She's looking for someone the Mercs helped get away. You talk to Samara and agree to help her. You go to the Eclipse base and you look for the name of the ship. Just before the boss fight, you run into this Volus. For renegades, this happens.
I shall toss Wasea about like a rag doll.
This idiot is no challenge to anyone.
The unique thing about this area is the gas. It helps increase the damage of your powers, but you don't want to stay in it for too long, or it'll kill you. You take out the leader and find out the name of the ship, then go back and get Samara to swear loyalty to you. Then I go to the Citadel and do Thane and Garrus' loyalty missions. First is Garrus, who's looking for a former teammate that betrayed him and got his entire team killed. We go and find Harkin. Yes, that Harkin from the first game. It's a long battle and against two giant mechs. Garrus gets Harkin to schedule a meeting with Sidonis. Now Garrus sets up a sniper position, but Shepard stays in the way and talks to Sidonis. Shepard is able to talk Garrus down.
Just go. Tell him to go.
Next is Thane. You find out Thane's son is going to assassinate someone. You find out the name of the person who ordered the assassination and report it to Bailey. He has Kelham arrested, and you get the chance to interrogate him. If renegade, you get to say this wonderful line.
Give me a name or I'll cut your balls off and sell them to a Krogan.
Now you do a simple tail mission until you find Kolyat. He almost kills his target, but you stop him in time. Thane and his son spends time talking, and you manage to convince Bailey to let the boy go.
Community service for attempted murder?
Next I head to the Krogan homeworld of Tuchanka, where I meet an old friend.
Shepard! My friend.
I talk to him about Grunt, and turns out he's basically going through puberty. So we need to go through a rite of passage. This means fighting wildlife, including a thresher maw. Then I go and help Morden find a friend of his who were all part of a team that recently released another form of the genophage on the Krogan. Morden thought he was captured, but turns out the Solarian went willingly with the Krogan to try and cure the genophage.
Finished, Malin. Get out. No Weirlock left. Project over.
Next I go and help Tali, who's being accused of treason for bringing active Geth to the Quarian fleet. Shepard has to represent her in court. You find out the Geth have taken over her father's ship, so you and Tali go and try to retake the ship. After taking out all the Geth, you find out that Tali did not send active Geth to the ship, but her father was piecing all those Geth parts together to try and bring them online. The goal is to find a weakness in them so they can go and retake their homeworld. Tali doesn't want the Admiralty to know about it, so when you get back, you instead just tell everyone what a wonderful person Tali is, and points out this trial is more about going to war with the Geth. In the end, Tali is cleared of all charges, and her father isn't disgraced. This does feel like some foreshadowing, though.
Thank you.
Next mission is for Samara. She was tracking one of her daughters, who's been murdering people. You track her to Omega, and talk to Arya. She recently killed a young woman, so you go and investigate. The mother lets you look in her room. You find out Morinth is in the VIP part of Afterlife, and you get the password to get in. Samara tells you what you need to know to get Morinth interested in you and offer you back to her place. Eventually you find her and talk to her using your Paragon and Renegade options. She takes you back to her place and tries to seduce you, but you don't buy into it.
Morin! Mother.
You have a choice to decide who dies.
Find peace in the embrace of the goddess.
I do a bunch of side missions, including arguably the worst mission in the game. You just push a few buttons to activate a shield. That's it. No fighting, no dialogue, just one puzzle, and you're done. There's also this one with a mech that helps clear the way until you get to this rock. Yeah, I'm gonna say it, most of the side missions are bad. They don't add much and just feel like the devs were trying to extend the playtime of the game. The next DLC mission I did was Project Overlord, which I also haven't played. It is decent. You arrive with the Hammerhead to a giant satellite dish regarding a rogue VI trying to send out its signal to infect other machines in the galaxy, so Shepard stops it by destroying it. You then meet Archer. The reason you were fighting a bunch of Geth was because they were developing a VI to take control of the Geth. He claims his brother David volunteered to serve as a test subject, but his mind couldn't handle the VI connection. Now he's gone rogue, trying to infect everything he can. So Shepard needs to go and shut the program down, and possibly have to kill David. You take the Hammerhead to two different locations. Vulcan Station is first, which sounds like an obvious nod to Star Trek. This level is fun in some areas, where you need to bunny hop from rock to rock and ride the air. Getting inside, you get to the main control system and release the first lock. Then head to the Prometheus station. This location has a downed Geth ship. There's a shield blocking it, and...
Well then.
You use the giant gun to destroy the shields around the generators. Then you can destroy the big gun. Make your way inside, and at first, nothing attacks you. But after you release the final lock, the VI activates all the Geth. So now you need to fight your way back out. Head to Atlas Station to stop the VI. This map is interesting. The VI is playing games with you. You also listen to the recordings and begin to find out that David may not have volunteered for this. You get to a console which suddenly takes over Shepard, which of course gets you separated from your squad mates. I will say this looks really cool, but more importantly, you get to see David's side of the story. He was able to communicate with the Geth, which is why Archer forced his brother into the machine so he could control the Geth, but his brother wanted out. So it's sort of a boss fight, but it's not a big deal. You free David and he begs you to make it stop. Archer shows up and begs you to leave David in the machine.
So you'll sacrifice your brother's happiness for your own ambition.
Square root of 912.04 is 30.2. It all seemed harmless.
After that mission, I did some more side missions, which were better than the others. Then I found out Morden can sing.
I am the very model of a scientist Solarian. I've studied species Turian, Asari, and Batarian. I'm quite good at genetics as a subset of biology because I am an expert, which I know is a tautology. My xenoscience studies range from urban to agrarian. I am the very model of a scientist Solarian.
Now we get to the best DLC in Mass Effect 2, Lair of the Shadow Broker. You give some information to Liara about finding the Shadow Broker. An operative gave some hints to the location, and Farron is still alive, a friend of Liara's, who helped get Shepard's body from the Shadow Broker. Turns out he was going to sell the body to the collectors. Liara is going to go to her apartment, so Shepard will join her later. I of course go straight there, and find police are already there. Apparently someone tried to kill Liara, but she seemed to have escaped. You meet Fasir, who's a Spectre, and is investigating the crime scene. You look around her place and find a backup disc. It's a recording of a call. A Solarian named Saket can narrow down where the Shadow Broker is. You go to his office and meet up with him and Liara, but...
Liara's in there!
Vasir takes the transport to the roof while Shepard works from the bottom up. You fight off the Shadow Broker's agents, who aren't different from enemies you've been fighting up to this point. Shepard gets to a door and finds Vasir, but Saket is dead. Liara shows up and reveals Vasir was the one trying to kill her. Liara chases after her, while you fight off more Shadow Broker agents. You catch up, but Vasir gets away in a transport. You and Liara and one of your buddies get to follow. You get to control the hover car, but it's nothing special. Vasir eventually crashes, but you need to fight off some Shadow Broker enemies one more time. Then you go and catch up with Vasir. Even though she seems injured, she turns into a boss fight. At least it's a good, tough fight. I actually died.
Oh, come on. Gotta be kidding me.
You eventually defeat her. She claims she did the right thing by saving lots of lives with intel from the Shadow Broker.
So if the broker needs a few people to disappear, I'll pay that price without hesitation.
Liara is able to piece the information and find out where the Shadow Broker is. She has a long conversation about feeling bad that Farron got captured and all that has happened is her fault. You go to some planet that has a powerful storm. Inside that storm is a ship where the Shadow Broker is. At least fighting on the deck of the ship is pretty fun with these electric discharge stations. It's also fun to watch the enemies get sucked into the wind. You get inside and meet more of the Shadow Broker agents, finally coming across Farron. He was being tortured and kept alive by the machine. And this is the famous Shadow Broker. He throws the desk, knocking out Garrus. So now it's up to me and Liara. Unfortunately, it's an easy fight. He even got stuck on this. So despite the first boss being great, sadly the second one is disappointing. Liara is able to finish him off. And then she becomes...
Procedures.
I want a status report on all operations within the next solar day.
Shadow Broker, out.
You're the new Shadow Broker.
Shepard, I guess, comes back sometime later. Liara tells you some interesting things about what the Shadow Broker knew. Then she wants to come onto the Normandy and talk some more.
I hope the galaxy proves itself worthy of the effort you're putting into saving it.
Next mission was getting the Reaper IFF. There was a crew here doing some studying, but if you listen to the logs, you'll find out they slowly started to become indoctrinated. As you make your way further in, you encounter a Geth with a big hole in his chest, and also a bit of your shoulder pad.
Shepard, Commander.
You try to follow him, but you need to kill a bunch of husks. You grab the IFF, and the Geth opens up a force field, but gets knocked out. You take out the core, and then take the Geth with you to escape. You, Miranda, and Jacob discuss what to do with the Geth. As a side note, if you pick to give it to Cerberus, you won't get to activate it and have it as an ally. So be careful, because I made that mistake with my Renegade character. When you activate him, I must say, the Geth are quite fascinating.
Then what should I call you?
Geth.
I mean you, specifically.
We are all Geth.
What is the individual in front of me called?
There is no individual. We are Geth.
He then takes on the name Legion. Legion then gives you a mission to go and take out Geth that worship the Reapers. As you fight your way to the main console, Legion then expresses another option. Rewrite the heretics' memory to basically brainwash them to accept a new viewpoint. Which sounds renegade, but of course the only other option is to simply kill them all, so brainwashing is seen as a paragon. You fight your way out and escape. Joker informs you the Reaper IFF is installed, but ED needs to run a few more systems checks to get it working. So the game forces you and all your squad mates into a shuttle for the next mission. The issue is it's never explained. It just feels way too convenient. Which of course it is because the Reaper IFF is transmitting the Normandy's location, which the collector ship shows up and boards the Normandy. You now take control of Joker, and need to get to the AI core in order to release ED so she can control the ship. Of course, if you linger too long, you die. You get there without issue.
You want me to go crawling through the ducts again?
I enjoy the sight of humans on their knees. That is a joke.
Right.
Then you get to the core so ED can purge the ship and get away. The crew comes back and Joker explains everything. Now it's time for the final mission. If you want everyone to survive, first thing you need to do is make sure you have 3 specific upgrades for your ship. Then make sure all loyalty missions are done. I'll explain in a bit who you will need for what. But first, it's time for some love making. I decided to do it with Miranda, since it didn't seem like things were going to work out with Ashley. You have one last talk with the Elusive Man. He wishes you the best and thanks you for everything you've done. You head to the Omega-4 relay and go through. If you did not upgrade, then randomly your crewmates will die for each upgrade you don't have.
fine.
There is a small boss fight with the Oculus. Then more cutscenes play with Joker flying through debris. You finish off the Oculus, now the Collector's ship comes out to fight, but the Normandy has a new weapon to use.
How do you like that, you sons of bitches?
However, the explosion somehow disables the Normandy, so it crashes on the space station. Shepard gathers everyone to plan out what to do. The first assignment is a tech expert to sneak in and get 2 doors open for the 2 teams. Here is where your decisions matter if someone is going to live or die. So for the tech expert, you can send in Tali, Kasumi, or Legion. Then you need to pick someone to lead the second squad, which can be Miranda, Jacob, or Garrus. If you don't pick the right person, then the tech expert dies. You and your squads head out and the epic music plays. You have to fight collectors while opening shaft doors for the tech expert. They claim it's hot in there, so you are on a timer. I remember doing this on the hardest difficulty back on the 360, and this part was the most frustrating for me, because all enemies had twice the health and did a lot of damage. Tali gets the doors open and closes it just in time. However, the frame rate suddenly dropped on me for some reason, so I'm sorry about that. Then you find the missing colonists. Unfortunately, one of them began melting. So Shepard and the crew opened up the pods to get his crew out. Dr. Chakwas tells Shepard the colonists were being melted down into liquid and pumped through the tubes. As a side note, if you went straight here like I did after your crew was taken, you'll save everyone. However, if you do 1 to 3 missions, then you'll save half of your crew. If you do 4 or more missions, then only Dr. Chakwas will be saved. Next assignment is to fight to the main chamber room, but the route is blocked by another door. There is another chamber to go through to unlock the door from the other side. However, the chamber is swarming with seeker swarms. Morden's countermeasure won't be enough. Shepard does ask if a biotic field is possible to get through. Samara believes she could do it, but any biotic in your team can. However, you must pick the right person, which is Samara or Jack. For the leader of the second team, it's still Miranda, Jacob, or Garrus. You also can decide to send someone to escort the crew back to the Normandy. If you don't send someone, the crew will die. If you send someone disloyal, the escort dies but the crew survives. If they're loyal, they'll all make it to the ship. My game did crash, which had me freaking out because I hadn't saved for hours. Luckily, it did quick save, so 10 out of 10 for this game. You fight more collectors and need to stay within the shield area.
Of course you'd take control of him right as I shot him.
Shepard gets the door open and everyone is okay. So now you decide who to take with you for the final encounter, while everyone else stays back and holds off the collectors. You fight more collectors before entering into the main chamber and get the big reveal on what they were working on.
Shepard, if my calculations are correct, the superstructure is a Reaper.
Not just any Reaper. A human Reaper.
I know a lot of people think this is nonsensical, but I don't know. This could be the Reapers experimenting with a new kind of Reaper, with a purpose we don't know about, or it will serve as a trophy for when the Reapers defeat the humans in the next cycle. If that isn't good enough for you, then nothing will convince you, so think what you will. Anyway, take out the glowing orange containers, which will send it falling. Shepard begins planting the bomb, but the elusive man patches through. He thinks a timed radiation pulse will kill the collectors, but leave the base and all its technology intact. As a Paragon, I tell him no. This base must be destroyed. He tries to tell Miranda to do something, but she also tells him no.
Think about what's at stake, about everything Cerberus has done for you.
Once the bomb is planted, the human Reaper shows up. Awesome, a giant boss battle. Sadly, it's not that difficult. You just shoot him as glowy parts until he dies. Granted, collectors will show up, but it doesn't make the fight any more fun. Finally, the Reaper falls. Shepard slides down to save one of his allies, and they all fall together. Shepard wakes up and gets them to their feet, then begins running to the Normandy. You make it out, but you also get to see the Collector General was being controlled by a Reaper. If you have your subtitles on, then you will know this Reaper is Harbinger. Shepard goes and talks to the Elusive Man. He's not happy at all. Depending on if you're Paragon or Renegade, the color changes in this scene. In the end, Shepard tells the Elusive Man to go to hell. Final cutscene. Oh, but wait, we still have one last DLC to do. Don't worry, we're almost done. The last DLC, Arrival, was purely for setting up Shepard for Mass Effect 3. You are on a mission to rescue Dr. Kenson, who was captured by Batarians. You don't get any of your allies here. Apparently the Batarians are claiming Kenson was trying to destroy the mass relay. You set her free and escape in a shuttle. She tells you they know the Reapers are going to arrive at this relay. When they do, they will use it to travel to every mass relay throughout the galaxy. Destroying this will buy the galaxy more time to prepare for the Reapers' arrival. The plan is to launch an asteroid at the relay, but the explosion would wipe out the system, which is home to 300,000 Batarians. You get to the base and there's a countdown to when the Reapers arrive, which is in 2 days. She takes you to a Reaper artifact, but turns out it was a trap. Kenson was under the Reaper's influence. So is everyone on the station. You get overwhelmed and taken captive. Turns out Kenson is actually being directly controlled by Harbinger. Shepard wakes up and conveniently Shepard takes out the guards, then hacks a mech to set him free. Shepard has less than 2 hours to activate the project, but Kenson then heads for the reactor core to try and blow up the asteroid. So Shepard has to fight his way through to Kenson. However, Kenson blows herself up, which didn't seem to do anything. So Shepard heads to the surface and fights some giant mechs to call for backup. Harbinger shows up and talks to him.
Know this as you die in vain. Your time will come. Your species will fall. Prepare yourselves for the arrival.
Shepard gets out just in time and watches the relay get destroyed, along with the planets around it. Admiral Hackett speaks with you about what happened. So point is, Shepard will have to go back to Earth and explain about his actions. Overall, Mass Effect 2 is still a great game to play. It improved in so many ways from the first game, mainly the combat. Like I said at the beginning, the main story here feels like a side mission compared to the first. That still doesn't change the fact it's great writing and paced very well. BioWare knew how to make great games. It's up for debate if that's still true with their recent games. I'm talking about you, Andromeda, Anthem. So I still recommend getting the Legendary Edition on any platform you have. Next month, we conclude the trilogy with Mass Effect 3. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe and help grow my channel. Leave a comment on what you thought. The usual shoutouts go to Traveling Calligrapher, Life Lived Candidly, and The Speakeasy. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.
I don't understand. Humans celebrate wedding contracts by tempting infidelity? That makes no sense.
Calm down, man. Don't embarrass me in front of the stripper.
What do Turians do? Do Turians do this too?
I'm just here for the drinks.